Alright guys, today I'm going to show you something that you didn't even know you needed. And that is how to make your hobby knife blade the best that it can be for plastic models. So with X-Acto and Excel and all the other brands of hobby knives, they all have this secondary bevel. I guess you could call it, it's probably the first bevel, but the bevel closest to the edge. And they put that there to make it last longer against materials like wood and harder plastic, epoxy, all that stuff. But for plastic models, we don't need that, so we're going to get rid of it. So, and that's going to make it super sharp. And we want that for two reasons. The first one being that when you, like, let's just say you're cutting at a gate against a piece, and if you have a dull knife, that gate can actually break off into the model and leave a hole. You can avoid that using this technique. And the second, and I know this sounds counterintuitive, you're actually less likely to cut yourself with a sharp knife. The reason being is you got a dull knife, you're trying really hard to cut something, you're putting a lot of pressure there, and maybe you slip. And you slip right into your finger, and that hurts. So, we're going to get rid of that. And the second thing we're going to do to this knife is on the back here. See that? It's really rough and uneven. That's where it was stamped out. They don't finish the edges. So what we're going to do is square this off. It's going to make a really great seam scraper. And there's, it's sharpening, so there's many things you can use. This is a cheap diamond stone. I think it's made by HTS, and it's actually really good for the price. I wouldn't use it on my Benchmades. I save my DTS stones for that. Or what we're going to do today is the scary sharp method, which is a method that's been around for decades, probably as long as sandpaper has existed. And all that is just different grits of sandpaper glued to a hard backing. We're going to start with 320. That's going to remove the material quick. And it's 400, 600, 1500, and 3000. And the 3000 is what we're going to finish with. They sell it all the way up to like 15,000. But once you get above like 5,000, you're better off just using a strop with some white or green compound on it. But let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to remove that bevel. We want that gone. And I'm just going to put a few drops of water on here. You don't want to soak it. Even though it's wet or dry sandpaper, you still don't want to soak it. And this is boring. I'm going to fast forward through it, but I'm just going to show you the idea here. So you want to put it on your surface and tilt it until you feel it stop. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. And the goal here is to keep going until you get a burr. And a burr is just a thin layer of feathered metal at the edge. And it's kind of your finish line. So I'll show you that's what that's like when I get it. Alright, so we've got the bevel removed from one side, which is this side. This is what you want. Don't want? Want. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I'll just go up in grit size, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, we finally have the all-important burr. And if you can see that there at the very edge, it's kind of a feathery, thin line of metal. And so again, that's like your finish line. Once you get that, you stop and you switch to the other side. So once you've gone through all the grits, you should end up with something that looks like that. Nice and polished. And it should make your hair pop off like it's scared of you. And it's all an opportunity for a clean break. Yep, there we go. Alright, next, we're going to work on that back. To turn it into a seam scraper. This is it's really easy. All you need to do, take your sandpaper or your sharpening stone, keep it at a 90-degree angle, and just keep going until you remove all the irregularities. All right, and here we have the back of the blade. That's what it should look like. Give her a test run real quick. Yeah, perfect. You want those ribbons. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. And I should say, too, the same goes for scalpels for the most part. Most of the cheap medical scalpels, like you can get on eBay, you paying $10 for 100. You're not really getting medical grade scalpels. They're still going to have a little bit of a micro bevel at the edge. These are made really quickly, really cheaply. They're not really quality instruments. Real medical scalpels. It's like $100 for a box of 15. And I have to take that back, actually. Swan Morton makes some great scalpel blades, but they're hard to get in the U.S. It's kind of a bummer because they are genuinely good. But other than that, I hope that helps. Y'all have a good day. Bye.